Ready to get cracking?
Yes.
Good. Don't worry, we have an editor, so we can muck up as much as we like. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second Renford Rejects podcast, Zoomcast, live from God's country in North Yorkshire. Now, today I have my co-host, Tom Weller. Say hi, Tom.
Word up, people.
Okay, can you talk normally, please?
Sure. Hello, everybody. And
There
can I
you
just
go.
say thank you for all the lovely comments and everything about the first one. It was our pleasure.
Yeah, mate, don't pretend that wasn't you. And then we have a brilliant special guest from the land of the midnight sun, Sweden, I think that's what they call it. Holly Davidson. How are you, Holly?
I'm really good. Really happy to be here.
Oh, man, it's great to see you.
I know, it's been a while.
It's so good. I do so many of these Zooms. I've got different Zooms that I do. It's so good to have an attractive person on that I can actually look at. It's very nice.
Why, thank you.
There you go. Good.
I'll take it.
There you go. Which reminds me, I think it is to do with, not to do with me, obviously you're brilliant, but I think in your casting, I think I helped in your casting.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought you were really pretty and I didn't like the other two girls, so I didn't try in the other two auditions.
I like it.
So I was just
Thank you.
deliberately totally rubbish in the other two auditions that I did, because we auditioned together, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to do, so I didn't
there we
try.
go.
I
Oh,
just
thanks.
mumbled. Yeah.
I'd like to say just one thing as well. Do you remember the audition when we had to play football to see if we could actually play football?
Do I remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was at Wilston. And Holly made me look like an absolute chump, and I was completely devastated. She did some trickery, some wizardry, got round me and whatever, and I just thought there's no way I'm getting this part. So thank you for that, Holly.
Oh God. Well, that obviously was a fluke on my part because
Yeah. Dancing, doing the Running Man on the spot. She was very good at that. I remember that.
Yeah, I had some moves.
You did. You cut some serious shapes back in the day, Holly. I need to do one thing before I get cracking. I've got a bunch of questions I want to ask everybody. I have to do a shout out to Charlie Hegarty from Derry for sending me, and not Tom, or this lovely New York Cosmos swag. I've got this, there's another one like it, and a New York Cosmos top as well. I'm a massive New York Cosmos fan ever since.
He won't be getting a hello from me, that's for sure.
He's got other swag, mate. He's got other swag he is going to share with you, so be careful about what you say.
Oh, I love that guy. I love him.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
And then I also have to do a reveal. Okay, hang on a sec. I am wearing something under this. So
God. Oh.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
There we go.
Nice.
There you go. Courtesy of Leighton, our producer. I have got. See, they're still too big for me now. I'm still not putting muscle on. Okay. I have to say, Holly, a bit later on, we are going to talk football. I know you said you were then going to watch porn. So
yes.
I'm going to get that set up. It'll be in about 20 minutes.
I've got it. I've got another screen right here. I'll just distract myself for 5 minutes whilst you boys.
I feel that was an alpha power move, because clearly watching porn is more important than watching us talking balls. So I just think you're alpha in us completely there.
I thought we were
me.
all watching porn right now. No?
Just you, mate. Just you. And it's very creepy. You might want to watch it. I can see it in the reflection behind you. There's some creepy stuff. Okay, I've got some questions.
Yes.
What pompous ass? Why am I the one asking questions? Dick.
I'm ready.
Holly, I've got some quick fire questions for you. It's so great to see you. They are true or false questions.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You live in Sweden.
True.
You're pregnant. True. Your baby is a girl.
True.
And you're considering calling it Robin.
True.
No, I'm the father.
That's false.
Hang on, get on to that. You're a personal trainer and looking super buff. True. Yeah, I saw you at Gatwick, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. That was like after 15 years of I've never seen you, and then randomly bumped into you at Gatwick Airport.
That was great. We were at Gatwick, and she just walked past me, and I went, "See you, Holly."
I was like, "What?
Wait, hang on.
Who are you?"
Your husband is I've written this down, is an Adonis type, defying age.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and my last question is: there's no way he's straight, is there? Being that good looking.
That's false. He's actually straight. I mean, hello.
Okay. He's gonna make a lovely mother. He's gonna make a lovely mother. I'm so jealous to see this freaking dude. There's like a heat mirage in front of him when you see him. Do you know what I mean?
He is, yeah, 45 and in very good shape. And yeah, I mean, you know, what can I say?
It's free.
I'd like to say it's all my good work being a personal trainer, but it's all his good work. So yeah,
it's freaking ridiculous, Tom. I was going to get him to do like a walk past with his shirt off, but I don't. I'm not very well. I
want to meet this guy. Please.
Yeah, he's hot. You'd hit on him. You'd turn for him. I'm telling you.
No, he knows.
Well
he's
done,
amazing.
Holly. Well done.
Thank you.
So I've got a bunch of Renford questions, but Holly, I want to give this podcast a little bit of flint, a little bit of depth, if you don't mind. First off, can we see your bump? We saw it off air and it looks beautiful.
It's
so beautiful.
So I'm 5.5 months pregnant.
Can you tell us a little bit about you, because it's been a heck of a journey, hasn't it?
Yes, it certainly has, and I'm really kind of very open with talking about what's going on, because I know, you know, for some women, to be honest, a lot of women have a lot of fertility troubles and it can be a real big struggle, but often it's not really spoken about, and a lot of women feel very alone with loss and trauma. And so very quickly, the story goes, I've never been pregnant in my life and met my husband, and we instantly wanted to have children and got pregnant pretty quickly, which we were like, that's amazing, especially I was 39 at the time. And then our 12-week scan, we found out the baby had some health issues, obviously devastating. But feeling very positive that it's going to be okay, everything's going to be fine. So I was monitored for the next, every 2 weeks I'd have a scan, and every time we went for a scan they said that the baby's health was deteriorating. And at 5 months, which is kind of where I'm at now, we had to make the decision. I was going to say difficult decision, but because the baby was so ill, it wasn't that difficult, to terminate the pregnancy, which was the most traumatic thing I've ever gone through in my life. Having to give birth and walking out the labor ward, because you actually give birth in the labor ward where everyone around you is pregnant and having babies, you walk away with nothing. And that was really, really tough. After that, I had 2 miscarriages, one at 10 weeks and one at 6 weeks. Literally just about to start IVF, because time's ticking. I'm 41 now. And literally the month I was about to start IVF, did a pregnancy test and found out we're pregnant with this little one. So 2 years of a really kind of traumatic, difficult experience. Now, it doesn't take away what I went through having a healthy baby, but it's nice that we know that we're on the path now to having a baby, which is amazing. And on my Instagram, I've been very open about talking about it, and spoken to a lot of women who've been through very similar things. And I know that it's a subject that, it's a tough one. It's a really difficult one, and so many people go through it. And I think it's really good to be open and talk about these things, and it helps women feel empowered and gives them strength. Because I know when I was going through it, women were saying to me, I've been there, we've got our happy ending. And it gave me hope, so I want to hopefully, with my story and talking openly about it, do the same for other women.
Yeah, it is shockingly prevalent, isn't it, when you start talking to people? We've been through it. We've had back-to-back miscarriages before, so it's crazily prevalent. You don't realize until some people start talking, and it's that horrible feeling of shock and loss and alone and anger and down the street, seeing someone else who's pregnant and thinking, I hate you. I mean, it's just like these irrational things that go through your head. But I have not monitored, but I've seen a lot of your posts, and it's not, as Johnny Rotten said, having a short holiday in someone else's misery. But I've been amazed at how well you've verbalized what you're going through, and being so open about it, and it's really amazing and inspiring. And I hope I don't sound patronizing, but I'm so fucking pleased at the moment. It's just, you look wonderful, and it seemed wonderful, and I'm so excited about having another Robin in the world.
Yes, exactly. No, It's no, I think you know, being on social media for me is I made a kind of a if I was going to be on there, I had to be real, I had to be honest, I can't be false. And it was, you know, showing all aspects of my life, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the ups and the downs. And I think people can relate to that. And I think, you know, I'm not going to be on there and pretend life is rosy when things are not so good. And that for me was really important. And, you know, and I continue with that. And whether it's, you know, miscarriages or whatever the topic is that I'm going through, I'm pretty open with that.
So I'm going to go forward in my questions to come back. Something I was going to ask you way down the line. So from Renford Rejects, from that time, I mean, you're kind of a role model. And did you find that you have a fan base that have followed you along and then followed you into this new career, or is it a whole different type of people? But the way you are with yourself, I mean, as a personal trainer and having this sort of personal training empire, you do have a kind of role model vibe. Did that start with Rejects? Because it was back in, you know, 97, girl power and all that kind of stuff. And then there you were, the best player in a crap football team, being hounded by Terry Stoker over there.
Yeah, dare I say, I don't think it started in the Rejects. No, I don't think she was a role model at that time.
No, hey.
No, she was not, if you knew her personally.
And by the way, Holly, just wanted to say how lovely your story is about your pregnancy. It's a wonderful thing. And
it is.
A nicer person, so congratulations.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. Do you know what? At the time we did Renford Rejects, I didn't really feel like a role model at all. It wasn't until quite a few years afterwards where people would be like, you don't understand what that did for me, that program, and spoke about it with such kind of passion and nostalgia. And it was this, I think for so many people, it was such a big thing for boys and girls growing up, because yes, there was this girl who was kind of, you know, she was, rather than it being like the guys that were the best at the football, she was, you know, this amazing role model, but I didn't really know it at the time. And it wasn't until quite a few years afterwards that I realized what an impact that show had. But I think, you know, it's kind of been in my character to be that kind of, you know, always been active, always been wanting to kind of support and encourage, and, you know, with everybody, whether it's in acting or now in personal training. So I think it's kind of in my character to want to encourage people to do their best, and so yeah.
Did we lose Tom?
We did.
Yeah. Well, I'll just carry on then, because I think the show as a whole, when I look back on it, like they tend to whitewash shows now, don't they? They're just, especially American shows, that are like, there's this guy and his Asian friend and his African American friend, and they're all, you know, it's all kind of, it doesn't fit. It's just, I lived in America for tens and tens of years. I know it's all bollocks. All that business, but Renford was a very inclusive show, wasn't it? I mean, you were kind of the lead and the best footballer and all the rest of it, but there was nothing else made of that, was there?
No, I mean, that was it wasn't like I don't think they were trying to do it just to tick the box of like having the girl power in there. I just think, you know, the way they brought everyone together and the way they kind of united everyone, I think it was pretty unique. I think it was you know, just ahead of its time.
It was a bit, yeah. Yeah, it was a bit. All right, so I'm going to ask you one of my questions. Tom's back. Sorry, did you miss any of that, Tom?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Hello.
It was the porn.
It was the porn. Did you swap us out?
I get so distracted by it. I just can't help myself. I'm sorry. I've turned it off now.
As from personal experience, I will tell you, mate, that if you watch a lot of YouTube, it does eat up all your data. That's
not that you would know that. Is that coming from? Not that you know, but a friend told you.
Friend told me. I got a question, and it's kind of a weird existential question. Okay, you both answer it. Renford, where is it in your mind, like geographically and stuff? I mean, we know where it was because we filmed there, but like, where is Renford?
Great question.
Do you have any ideas, Tom?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I've ever actually thought too hard about it, like where in my head it would be. I mean, to me, Kensal Green which is one of the loveliest places on the planet, is where it is for me. You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know why the question popped in my head, but it did. It was just like, it's like Springfield in The Simpsons. It's like, where is it?
I was always kind of, I thought it would be kind of in London, but not like central London, more like, you know, in the suburbs, just out kind of on the peripheral kind of. So we're not in the cool spot. We're not in a nice, cool, edgy part of the world. We're in this kind of, you know, no one really knows. No one really knows or remembers Renford, but it's just on the edge of everything happening.
Feels like a new town that they built where mostly mediocre people went to live. Underachievers went to live.
Yeah.
And there's an old school family of Stokers that live there that are angry because people have moved here. That's what I feel like. Yeah,
I think the Stokers have run the town forever.
Yeah.
And all these sort of new underachievers have come in, and we're just trying to get them out. You know, we want it back to the way it was in 1875.
Right. Yeah, bare knuckle boxing and slavery as well. Still, I think slave trading. I feel like the Stokers were slave traders or something as well.
Sure. I mean, I'm sorry we didn't do an episode on the slave trade. Really, it would have been emotional.
It would have been emotional and controversial, I think. I've got another question for you, Holly. Less existential.
Thank you.
What is a Christmas tree formation?
Okay. It's there's two strikers, and they come forward. They pass from the left.
It always feel like this is a five-a-side team. All right, so it's like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree formation. Yeah, carry on.
Whatever the formation, it worked. Okay, just remember that it was good.
It did.
Did it? Did it work?
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't. Don't we score like one goal and you've scored 400 goals? But we've.
I think the whole point is that the rejects were absolutely terrible, and that's, in my opinion, down to the manager.
Yes. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
And the Christmas tree formation.
And having a girl on the team. Yeah.
Because you haven't got enough balls for the Christmas tree, because it's a five-a-side team and not an 11-a-side team. All
right. So another question I have. Me and Holly were talking about it while you went off to do whatever it is you do. Do you think you can make Renford rejects now?
Is that to me or Holly?
Either of you. Because we were talking about it was kind of ahead of its time, but then I don't know whether now is the time that it will be. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether you could make it now.
I don't think you could make it in the format it was made before. I think people have moved on. I think it could possibly be a little bit too childish. I don't know. I think people have moved on from that type of thing. However, I think that for its time, it was ahead of its time. I think even down to the sort of camera work and stuff like that, I think it was ahead of its time, I would say.
Do you remember the cameraman?
Pierre Bufferty?
Yeah, I've got a good Pierre story. So for those of you who weren't on Renford Rejects, which is everybody but us three, the show was shot by this Oscar-winning DOP cameraman, Parisian fella called Pierre Bufferty, so he shot everything apart from the crane stuff with a camera on his shoulder all the time, and he had almost like a chameleon, two eyes that moved different to one another. So he could look down the lens. If you're listening to me, I'm looking down the lens, by the way. And then his other eye, his left eye, could look around the room and see things at the same time. So he had swivel eyes, which was quite amazing, but very weird when he used to watch his other eye moving. Well, Pierre, he took great pride in being really scruffy. Do you remember? He just deliberately really grotty all the time. He'd wear these odd pajamas. And one time it was a hot day, and he had these scabby old pajamas on and what looked like two parkas on. He always used to wear a parka with the hood up. And he was picking at the buffet outside whatever that pub was called, the Buccaneer. And the AD started having a fit, saying there was a homeless dude stealing from the buffet.
Oh no. Oh no.
And Stephen had to come down. Stephen was the exec producer. Stephen had to come down to remove the homeless guy, and it was his award-winning DOP.
But I can completely understand why somebody would have thought that he was a homeless man.
Yeah.
You know, he was the scruffiest man I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And one of the weirdest men, I think.
Very weird. One time, Chris Wilson, who was the writer on the show, was telling me that he was in Paris and he went to pick something up from Pierre's apartment. And I realise now in retrospect that it was a joke, but Chris didn't get it. He gave Chris his keys, and when he went in, the entire place was just full of porn and sex toys paraphernalia laid out everywhere.
My type of man.
Your type of man, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, Pierre's a degenerate." And I was like, "No, I think that was a joke. That's like a Parisian scruffy guy joke." I imagine he spent hundreds of pounds or euros or whatever it was, francs back then, on getting that stuff just to play that joke, which ultimately backfired completely.
Backfired. Oh dear.
Yeah, utterly. Yeah, what a waste.
I will just say about Paul Bofferty, I think he was a very, very talented cameraman.
Oh, he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
And actually, I think it was season 4, I actually sort of connected with him a little bit, and he was all right. I think he was just socially awkward, I guess. You know,
he was a very troubled man, actually.
He was.
I do know Pierre's story. He was a very troubled man. He'd had some horrible loss in his life as well. And so I think he was on a path of self-destruction. It isn't really my place to say what it was, but
sure.
he'd lost someone and he just never recovered from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of season 4, Holly, because I left in season 3.
Yeah.
Season 1. So when did you leave?
After season 1. And I have to say, this is I don't have many regrets in my life at all. And especially career-wise. And for me, my only regret ever was leaving that show.
That was obviously my question. Yeah, that was going to be.
Why did you leave, you idiot?
It wasn't why did you leave? It was just, what did you regret leaving?
Yeah, no, I do. Looking back, I totally do. I think for me, the show, not only was it brilliant, I had the best time. Right. You know, I bonded with the cast. The whole kind of experience was just brilliant. And I remember, you know, I was 17, turning 18. I kind of thought my career was just gonna, I honestly thought I was going to Hollywood. You know, you have these grandeur ideas and you think, oh, I'm going to get this, and I don't want to tie myself into the next, 2 years of, these series and be stuck here. And yeah, and then that was my biggest regret. I think the show was brilliant, and I think the character was great, and I wish I'd have stayed.
I don't know about you, Tom, but I don't think the show ever recovered from losing Holly, did it? I mean, I know we got a Hollywood superstar in Lucy Punch to replace that.
I mean, obviously,
it was brilliant.
I had to work hard to save the show, but yeah, when Holly left, it was devastating. But Holly, can I just say that when you left, did you leave to do another job, or did you just leave because you didn't want to commit?
It was the commitment. It was the commitment because it was, if I signed, I'd be signing for the next 2-3 seasons, I think. So that was, and it was a bit like, okay, what if something else comes up and I miss an opportunity? And so it was more kind of thinking ahead and not wanting to put all my eggs in one basket and be stuck. Because once when you sign up to that, you can't really do anything else. So, But yeah, no, I wish I'd stayed, because I not only love the character but love the show, and think that I should have stayed.
But I'm not blowing smoke, but you were a very talented actor. You did some really good stuff. What was the film? The Essex Boys, was it?
Yeah.
That was great. That was really, really great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did some really good stuff. I really, I'm proud of my acting career. It was good. It's funny looking back now, I would never say I was the most talented actress, or I got by. I did, it was good.
I showed up.
In hindsight, when you look back, it's kind of like, I was fine, but I did some really nice things. I'm really proud of the work I did. But that film didn't come. It wouldn't. I would have done that film even if I'd have stayed and done the Renford Rejects.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I remember, but I think was it just part of a rebellious streak? Because I remember you coming back having green hair as well.
I never dyed my hair green.
Your hair was green. Didn't you dye your hair a funny colour? It was a green colour.
No, that's probably me trying to be blonde, and it went green.
That's what happened as well.
You definitely came back though. You definitely came back one night because we all went to the Buccaneer, and I ended up back at your house. We're going out with some guy, and me and Charlie came back to your house one night. Do you remember that?
Yeah. No, that was the thing, because I live really close by, and I remember I wasn't working when you guys were doing the second season, and all I wanted to do was hang out with you guys. I'd be like stalking, like, I'm just gonna drive by and be like, oh hi. And no, I was really kind of like really annoyed at myself, because I had, the whole time that you guys were doing the second season, I was off, I wasn't working, and I was just like kicking myself going, why did I do that? But there's sometimes you make mistakes.
All right, so there's a slight elephant in the room there, and that is when you came back, you did one episode in the second series, did you? Am I wrong? Did one episode in the second series?
Okay.
When you came back, God, I hope I don't sound creepy now. You kind of blossomed as a woman from being a girl in the first.
Okay.
And I think it would have been a slightly different show to a totally different audience if you'd stayed on as well.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember that happening. Obviously, that happened without you. You boys notice those things.
Boys notice these things.
Girls don't.
Girls don't notice things. Boys were just like, wait, whoa.
Tell you what I think happened. I know what I think happened. Going into too much details, I'm just obviously sharing my entire past history.
Right.
I went on the pill. I went on the contraceptive pill, and all of a sudden my boobs turned into a page 3 girl. So I was like,
absolutely no recollection of that at all. Don't remember that.
Okay.
Oh, I do. I've still got the pictures.
I don't remember that. I do remember scene 1 of episode 2 thinking, as Holly in a school uniform with massive boobs.
Yeah.
This is a totally different show now.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, what was it like being with just a group of young testosterone-filled teenage boys?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I mean, I look, what girl doesn't like being, center of attention? But I wanted to be one of the lads. I wanted to kind of, I'm not a girly girl. I've always been a bit of a tomboy, and I wanted to get stuck in. I wanted to be part of the gang, but obviously I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, and so there was one thing that was a little bit different with me, and played on that a little bit. Just loved kind of hanging out with you guys, and I was going to say flirting and being girly and all that kind of side of it, but it was fun. It was great.
Well, as I remember it, and Matt, you might say something different, I don't know, but you just seemed to, I don't know, there was like a respect for you, and we just all got on so well, and there was never any sort of problems like that, really, were there?
No, not at all. Well, no, not for me. No, it was all really kind of, I never felt like any guys were hitting on me or anything like that. It was totally like I was one of the guys, and that's what I loved, that's what it felt like. I was all, we were part of a team, literally part of a team.
A team that revolves around giving you foot rubs and bringing you grapes and hoovering your trailer for you and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
That's that sort of team. Yeah. Davidson democracy. Yeah, very good. I'm going to ask you a question, Tom.
Go on, mate.
All right. When did you, as an actor in the show, feel like you'd found your feet?
So the first season, I was very, very uncomfortable. As we spoke about in the first one, it was the first job I'd done. In actual fact, I'll repeat something I said in the first episode about Holly, and I was really having a hard time. I didn't feel like I gelled like you guys had, because I wasn't in as many episodes as you were. And Holly came in the green room one day, and she clearly sort of felt that I was, not upset, but just not feeling it. And she came in and she said something along the lines of, are you okay? And you're one of us. And it was just a really lovely moment. I think I spoke to you about that, Holly.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
She's always been an older soul, Holly, wasn't she? I think that's why we respected her so much. It's like wise beyond her years, I think.
Yeah, I've just never ever forgot that, because you know, when you're in a sort of environment where everyone's really pally, almost like a family feel, and you don't feel part of it, it can be really tough sometimes. And that day was the day that Holly, when Holly said that to me, that day was the day that I thought, actually, I'm part of this thing.
Right.
In season 2, when the nerves had gone and I just started messing around with it a little bit more, I think that's when I really sort of got the character. Well, I certainly got a lot more episodes after that, so something must have been right, you know.
Yeah, I think that's when the show started to find its feet again and kick back on again, was when Terry Stoker started to be in it more and more of his own character, not just a hardener. But you sort of learned how to be funny.
I think I remember Stephen Baywell calling me into the office and saying to me, you know, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's really great. You know, keep the comedy, keep this, that, and the, and that sort of confidence building is great for me, you know. And I just ran with it. And like I said to you in the first episode, I just stole loads of material and characters from people that I loved, you know, like Rick Mayall and this, that, Dumb and Dumber and stuff like that, and just basically said the script in the way that they did. And so yeah, I'm a terrible actor that has to steal other people's stuff. So
I was talking to Holly. We actually did a little prep. Well, me and Holly took a lot, so I'm going to alfie there as well. I was talking to Holly midweek when we were just prepping this show, and I was telling her about the time Stephen Baywell called me into the office, and it was after Holly left and they were recasting the girl. Right. And I came in one morning, and Stephen Baywell, for those of you who don't know, was the executive producer of the show, who's a New York American, and kind of tough. He had a kind of a tough exterior. And for English people, he was a bit scary. And one morning I came, and I think it was in rehearsals, and it was while the casting of the new girl, ultimately Lucy Punch. Give us a shout out, Lucy. Whatever happened to her?
Come on, Lucy, come on.
What happened to her? So I came in for rehearsals, and there's this, hey, Matthew, come here. Come here. And I'm like, oh shit, what have I done? Come here. So I go into his office, and he's got a clamshell, you know, a little record. You know, you always used to watch everything back on that little recorded device. Yeah. It's like a little TV recorder thing that you look at, little screen. You come here, I want to show you something. So he lines up, like fast forwards through a whole bunch of auditions. And he lands on this one girl auditioning for the new part. And it's a girl called Laurie van der Hagen, who's my ex-girlfriend, who is French-Belgian. And her intro for the audition, she went, hello, my name is Laurie. I am Matthew's ex-girlfriend, and he is a fucking asshole.
Oh, man.
And she didn't get the part.
She didn't get the part, Holly, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a good, that would have been a good frisson between the two of us during that show. I think that
things not to say in an audition. There we go. Number one.
Yeah.
My one of my ex-girlfriends auditioned for the third series, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think was it Carl Proctor?
Yes, was a casting director. Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to libel myself, but she said he was pushy. I think he asked her out on a, you know, do you want to come for a drink after the audition sort of thing.
Really?
And that's all I'm going to say.
Really?
I like Carl.
I always figured Carl Proctor batted for a different team, but okay, fair enough.
I don't think, well, according to my ex-girlfriend, no.
Okay. Fascinating stuff. New revelations.
There we go.
Oh, speaking of things that go terribly wrong, Tom, talk us through season 3 in Renford Rejects. Talk about you finding your feet and becoming like a brilliant comedian in the show. But there was an episode in season 3, which was a Roman episode, which was all filmed, I believe, at Kensal Green Cemetery. The Kensal Green. And there was a beautiful opening shot by Stephen Baywell, and it was one long shot of a Roman chariot. Yeah. And you were the Roman legionnaire in the chariot. And then you got out of the chariot, and a crane came down like that. So it was about a 20-second shot, moving shot, that then switched to a crane shot. And what were you supposed to say? How many times could you not remember your lines
Right. So
my buddy's the editor of Renford Rejects, Mark Henson.
So I don't. If my memory serves me well, I don't think it was that part, but it was a part where I'm speaking to my dad, and I think Alex Norton's in the scene as well, and I just could not get the line. I just could not get it, because I never used to learn my lines. I used to learn them in rehearsal. So I just had this thing where I could just, you know, do the lines a couple of times and I would get it. But this was all spoken in sort of, you know, Old English or you know, Roman or whatever. And I just could not get it. And Pierre Bofferty, I remember him just going mad at me, just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It was just horrendous. I just could not get it. I get to a certain point and would just lose it. And the more frustrated and the more embarrassed I got, the worse it got.
Right.
I mean, how many times I don't know. When I've watched it back, it sounds like it goes really well. But I think what they might have done is mashed it together.
Yeah. Cut it all in. That was the problem with the Rejects, is it was all in one take. So
that's right.
It was like being a little play. You couldn't mess your lines up.
Yeah.
Which was lovely. Like, it looks so beautiful and it really works. But if you mess it up, the whole thing starts again. And we had some serious dialogue.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Chris Wilson, the writer, by season 3, I think, realized that I could memorize lots of dialogue. And he would just give me, like, it was exposition, like this long. Just me waffling on about what was happening. That was it. They didn't need to shoot anything then. I would just explain it. Like or something.
We'll talk about this a little bit later, but Roger Davies, who played Vinnie, had...
We should bring him on. Let's bring him on. Let's bring Roger Davies
on.
Bring Roger Davies on live from LA. I promised you an extra guest.
We get to see him.
It is Roger Davies. He's in the waiting room.
Come on, Davies. Where are you?
Bring him on.
Hey. Hey.
Oh, man.
My man.
Oh,
what's happening?
God.
Roger, where are you?
So I'm in LA at the moment, and I have a story, right? Because I remember after Rejects, I did an episode of The Bill, right? And Holly was in The Bill at the time, and I'd gone out the night before, and my call time was like, I think like 7 o'clock. I woke up at like 11 to all these missed calls. They're like, "Where are you at?" I jumped in the shower so quick. I was like, out. Got all the way down there. I get on this bus to see Holly, and she's like, "Dude." And then there was a black actor that was in the show. He pulls me into his trailer and he's like, "Dude, like, you're so late. You've got an attitude." I'm like, "Dude, I'm 4 hours late. There's no attitude. I'm so apologetic." But I just had to take it because he was like going off at me. But yeah, that's my Holly memory.
What an amazing story. Roger Davies didn't turn up on time.
Yeah, Roger Davies.
There we go.
Wait, what? I'm an on-time person.
How many times, Roger and I, you know, we were very good friends. We still are. And we used to go and meet up. And how many times did you not turn up, or you met me somewhere else? And
let me come in because the reception.
Yeah, you're freezing, Roger.
Oh, how convenient.
How convenient.
I'm here.
So what I was saying,
on a scale of 1 to 10, how big a douchebag are you now that you live in LA?
Oh my God, I've changed. I don't talk to anybody. I'm like,
you know what? I'm so happy. I was like, I haven't seen you. I haven't literally seen you in over 20 years. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's living in LA now. He's going to be all LA on us. He's going to be like doing the whole, like, you sound the same. I'm so happy. You sound the same.
Oh yeah. I'll never be that person that's like,
okay, good.
It's like, start being American. Oh, I can't stand those people.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
But you did go out running up Runyon Canyon on a Sunday like everybody else.
You know that I did with my top
on. You know what? I'm in LA in about 2 weeks' time. Maybe I'll come see you.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
I think I'm in there on the 17th.
Oh, amazing.
17th.
Oh, Leitchy, what I wanted to ask you was, you just said something about your ex auditioning. Was that Laurie that I know?
Laurie
the dancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she's not the only ex that's described me in those words, but the only one who's done it in an audition. But that was Laurie, yeah. And the funny thing is she must have been so pissed because, as you know, Laurie's the sweetest girl. So for her, she's the nicest, sweetest, Frenchest girl. She must have been super
but to be fair, why would you say that in an audition? You know what I mean? Like, why
would you lead with that? Don't lead with that. Yeah. I mean, if you don't get the part, that's fine.
Maybe she was going for realism, you know. Maybe she was going method, you know. you know what I mean? Like show him her method skills. Maybe that's what it was.
Because we were going into, it was going to be Betty Blue for the second season, wasn't it? A shoe throwing crazy lady pops her own eye out. Yeah.
And also, Holly, it was very interesting hearing you talk about how you kind of regretted like leaving.
Yeah.
You know, then like during the second, that must have been like, because it was so much fun. But I mean, I understand, like, you know, but it was different when you weren't there. I think because we all bonded so well in the first season, and it just became something spectacular. So then when you left, it created this huge hole. And we were like, then it was like a new person. And it was kind of like, okay, like kind of get used to someone where I felt like we already had like an amazing rhythm together already. So you were definitely.
I'm sorry. Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
you're the worst.
By rhythm, you mean the fact that you two could not stop dancing together at any time?
Oh my goodness, yeah. You used to love a little dance.
Oh, love a dance. Oh,
for those of you who, we used to go out as a gang. Like we hung out as a gang for 10 weeks.
That's right.
3 weeks rehearsal, 7 weeks shooting. We would go out at least 4 nights a week, which is why the later episodes in a week, we used to shoot 2 in a week. So Thursday, Fridays when we shoot the interiors, on the beginning of the week we shoot the football. Thursday, Friday, quite often we'd all look very poor because we've been out for a couple of weeks. But we would go out and literally we would just dance. We would go out and dance, and all the dance moves were choreographed by Roger Davies.
Our Roadhouse.
They would clear the floor for us. I used to think they were clearing the floor because we looked awesome, but I think they were clearing the floor because they thought we might be, like, you know, I don't know, dangerously weird.
You know what? As well, I remember going to the Hippodrome one time, and we would, you know, obviously we were young lads, and you know we were on the pool, and we used to just send Roger out to do his dancing because everyone would sort of circle around him, and then we used to go in and sort of pick off the weaker ones, you know.
Yeah, like gazelle.
I'll take you. Can I just say that actually, when we first started Rejects, like season 1, and we were at the not the Actors Studio. Where did we do the like table reads?
Yeah, it's not called the Actors. Is it called the Actors Studio? It's on
no, maybe it's like
7 Dials, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's 7 Dials. And so I remember, like, we would read, and then everyone would go outside to smoke. Yeah. And I didn't smoke at the time, and I was like, it's time to start smoking. So I then became a smoker because I didn't want to be left in a room by myself. So I was outside, like, smoking with everyone. I was like, oh, that's really sad.
So Roger, you, in the first episode, we were talking about you, and can you explain what the thing about your age was? So you were, I think you said you were like 16, you was really 14 or something like that when you first joined the Rejects.
I think I was like a year younger than I was like 15 or something when you guys were 16 or something. Yeah, but again, I just wanted to fit in. I want to be like one of the older ones.
Yeah, but wasn't there a thing that you were actually pretending to be older? I'm sure there was something. I'm sure there was me and you sitting in a van, and there was some sort of discrepancy because you had said you were 16 and you were only 15, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, probably. That probably happens. Yeah.
Rog, just a piece of advice in future: if you're trying to fit in with a bunch of dudes, like aggressive street dancing, perhaps isn't the way forward. Hey, watch me do the Running Man. Do the Running Man.
Hey! Oh my goodness. Do you remember?
It was so much fun. You were so much fun, Rog. Can I ask you a serious question?
Absolutely.
And tell me it's so funny. I did this on one. I do a Band of Brothers Zoom, and I had all the cadre, the guys that trained us. And I said, "Okay, I'll ask you a serious question. Tell me to go fuck myself." And as soon as I said that, all 3 of them just went, "Go fuck yourself!" Like just like that. It was so funny. Tell me to go fuck myself. Go fuck yourself. For you personally, playing Vinnie, and there being no nod to it whatsoever, and you being such an intrinsic part of the show. Was it important to you, and I can say this kind of as a black man, that you were such a prominent part, and there was nothing said about it, and it was quite forward thinking at the time? Do you know what I mean? Or am I reading into something that I should just shut up about and appropriate something?
Wait, what?
What's the question? That's what you're going to say. That isn't it?
Yeah. What's the question?
What is?
Well, I'll tell you what
the question is, that part could have been played by any actor of any ethnic background or any color or anything.
Right.
And the fact that you, as a young black man, played it, and there was nothing said about it. You just who you were. I feel like in any other show, they would have made a deal about it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see. I
And
see
you
what
were
you're
just
saying. Yeah.
you were just who you are. At the time, I think that was quite forward thinking. Or am I just being a douche?
No, do you know what? At the time, I do agree. I do think it was forward thinking, and especially like I hadn't seen anything like that on TV. And I have a lot of black actors come up to me today, man, say like, "Yo, like I watched Renford Rejects, man, and I was like so inspired by you." And it said to me like, "It's possible to play these kind of roles." You know, I'd not seen it before.
Point. That was my point, and it's the fact that you were so part of the main cast, one of the main guys, and the the lens through which everybody sees everything. And it is that it could have been cast, normally it would have just been a white dude. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. For sure.
And the fact that it was so easily done and so inclusive, was that important to you? And obviously you're saying that it's inspired people since to be like, dude, I can play any role. I don't have to, play the guy that's sucking his teeth or some crap like that. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? That's so interesting because I haven't really thought about that until you just said it literally now. And like obviously growing up, like later on in life, I've always thought about these things like these stereotypical roles where it's like, you're the thug, you're this, you're that. And I always like going in for like, yeah, but what about this? But at the time, super grateful to Stephen and everyone over there for like just being like, yeah, he could just be a black guy that's into presenting and all those kind of things there. So for me, yeah, I hadn't really thought about that until you just asked that question then. So that's wild. That's wild.
So leading on from that, can you please tell me the story of when you took Tom Weller home to meet your parents?
Oh my goodness. Oh.
I want to hear this.
So
by the way, we weren't a couple. We just used to hang out a lot.
Let's quite close to being a couple, boys.
No, I think I remember you saying that a lot when you hung out. We're not a couple.
We're not together. Well, yeah,
we're definitely not together.
I won't go into too much detail, but we did hang out too much. It got intimate.
Yeah, we did. We used to have like, didn't we used to do like the bath and shower thing?
Why? That's exactly what I didn't want to talk about. That is exactly what I didn't want to talk about.
But to be fair, it wasn't like romantic way, but we just like you'd be in the shower, be in the bath, and we'll be singing songs. That sounds really gay. Let's move on. So
a lot of information. Hang on a minute, not move on. Let's go back to the bath and the shower.
Bath and the shower. I mean, Tom, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is, Tom.
Roger, you need to start explaining exactly what you mean right now.
So me and Tom like to, we call ourselves Ebony and Ivory. We used to like singing songs together. And so like we'd be at my house and then like, in the bathroom there was a bath and a shower. So he'd be having a shower, I'd be having a bath, and we'd just be like singing like Lately or like song. Yeah, we'll be doing harmonies or songs from Ren. But anyway, I took Tom back to my house for the first time, and he met my family, and he was like, "Wait, what? How are you? Huh? Wait, but your parents are white. How's that? Huh?" And I think like for me, it wasn't like a thing that I used to like talk about much about this whole thing, because I was adopted when I was younger. And so for me, I didn't really necessarily talk about it much. So I think like for him, when he came back and met my family, he was a bit like taken aback, right? Well,
what actually happened was when we were going back, you went, listen, when we go back, you're going to find something a little bit strange. And I was like, what is it?
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I missed that bit. Sorry, my bad.
And I was like, what are you talking about? You'll see when you get there. And and I got there and there were your white parents. And I was thinking, what the fuck is going on?
I remember that.
It was, I mean, it's
hang on, can I can I verify, is it true or is it not true that after Tom had his like, oh my God, your parents are white, you, Roger, said, were you expecting the legs from Tom and Jerry?
Thomas?
Wait, what?
Did you not say that? I'm sure Tom said that Roger said, what were you expecting the legs from Tom and Jerry? Thomas? Because that is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember. It's so funny.
I would claim that if I were you, because that's comic.
Yeah, I definitely said that. I
definitely said
comic genius.
For sure me, guilty as charged. Oh, that's funny.
We had some good times though, Roger, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah. We had some fantastic times. I mean, like there was so much fun. Like even from like staying at Aurora's house, that was so much fun. She was wild. To Charlie being Irish all of a sudden because he was staying at the pub, and I was like, Charlie, what?
The thing is, I need to set, when we tell stories like this, I need to set the scene. So Charlie played Ben Phillips, the optically challenged goalkeeper, and Charlie was East End London, through and through, Tower Hamlets through and through, until we stayed at the pub. Well, I didn't, because I didn't want to die. But there was a pub across the road from where we filmed called the Buccaneer that was run by an Irish couple. Is that right?
Yeah.
And Charlie started staying there, which is a euphemism for he would get locked in and just never come out. And after about 2 days sleeping on the floor of the Buccaneer, he was suddenly a farmer from County Kerry. I don't know. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? Why have you now got an accent? It's
And
weird.
he was like our own Madonna, wasn't he? He just suddenly changed accents completely.
Top of the morning, it was like, Charlie, no, don't do that.
Charlie, come on.
No, don't do it. Don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
You know what also used to find funny was it's terrible, is that you could go and speak to the accountants and they would give you like money early from your check.
Yeah.
And I remember like taking money and just going to buy like all these mobile phones, like I was P. Diddy. Had like this like flip Motorola phone that I was super excited about. I got you, Tom, to go down to back where you lived to pick me up some to Croydon to pick me up some Nike trainers.
TNs. I remember it.
The TNs, the blue ones.
Didn't Paul Paris blow his entire fee early in one go on that cabriolet? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, he had that.
Do you remember that? Like, I swear he asked for all of his money and then started turning up in this like Essex boy car with the hood down, with the top down, driving around in that.
Oh my goodness!
I'm pretty
Paul Paris.
Pretty sure.
I had the biggest crush on him when we were filming.
You did?
Yes, I remember. Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. I remember that.
God, yeah, proper crush. Yeah.
What was it?
Curtains and all?
Was it?
No, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Was it the way that he popped up in scenes?
Was that?
Didn't he?
Yeah. Do you like being startled? Is that what it is?
Yeah, looking back, I can't tell you what it was. You know,
it still remains. There's a little bit of it still remains.
I will say actually that Paul did get a lot of female attention as well as you did, Matt. Actually.
Yes. Yes.
Don't remember that at all.
You did, and you did that, didn't you?
Me?
Oh, Matt got a lot. Matt got a lot of attention.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
My thing. I remember Stephen Baywell saying to me and Paul, he was saying, when the show gets going, Paul, you're going to get a lot of attention from young girls, and you, Matthew, are going to get a lot of attention from slightly older boys. And that has been the story of my life. The story of my life. I get attention, but even now I get attention from slightly older boys.
Wait, Matt, are you still friends with Richie?
Yes. No. Well, kind of. Yeah. I'm still.
We talked about him in the last podcast, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. Yeah. Richie, who was a friend of mine, for those of you listening, he got sick. He got cancer.
No way.
He had a whole bunch of stuff cut out around here, around his neck, like that, and then he's back climbing mountains and stuff. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's still kicking ass. Yeah. Speaking of people who get attention from girls. Right, I'm going to bring in a new feature to the show. Holly, you might need to watch some porn because we're an hour in. If you're going to do that, I'm definitely going to watch. He's going back to Manchester United.
Yep.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Are you happy about that?
I'm so happy. He's just so spectacular. I think it's a privilege to have him back in our Premier League. And when I heard he was going to Manchester City, I was saying to my son, who was working with me, I said, there's just no way he will go to City. There's no way. And sure enough, he's ended up back at United, which is exactly where he should be.
How good a dancer is he, Rog?
How good of a dancer is he?
Yeah.
Not great.
Not great. Not great. I mean, it's not great compared to yourself.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, there's levels.
Are you still dancing?
I'm not. No. I mean, when I go out every now and again, I'll cut some shapes, but
Right.
but no, not as much as I was before.
Hours and hours and hours of staying in the room together at Aurora's, and you saying to me, "Come on, learn this dance with me, learn this dance with me," and I just didn't.
That's right. That's right.
I can't dance as good as you can, and you were just like, "Yeah, do this and do." I was like, "For God's sake!" And here I am locking and popping, and it just looks like a white man who is shit at dancing, locking and popping. Rod's like, "Yeah, you got it, man."
Next to a black man who's very good at dancing.
Absolutely.
Clearly, you didn't realize you were his wingman. It's like going out with someone who's really ugly, and you're gonna score. Do you know what I mean?
You used me.
YouTube, 3 years, 4 years.
Who was that? Who was that guy? Oh my goodness. He was a host of a show, and we all went out one night, and
It was.
he tried it on me.
The Blue Peter. Oh, you're talking about Michael Barrymore night?
Mikey Barrymore, yes, Michael Barrymore.
No. We never talk about that. We never ever talk about that. Okay.
Okay. But can I just say something? Can I just say something about that? So the funny thing is, we were out one night at this club. I think it was me, Tom. I can't remember who else was there. And there were a couple of girls there as well. And Michael's there, and he's like super drunk, and he's like doing his thing. And he tried to kiss Tom or whatever. And like, I think maybe headbutt you or something. But anyway, and then like there was a girl that was with you, and you went, "Oh, like Tom's trying over me. Like, can you kiss me and stuff?" So like she started kissing him and stuff, right? And all I remember is he came up to me, and I went to the same girl. "Hey, Michael's trying at me. Can you kiss me?" She was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, brilliant."
Dude,
Brilliant.
I've never. That's the best. He would be the best wingman, Michael Barrymore. You could go out and say, he's hitting on me. Can you please make out with me so he'll leave me alone?
It was a horrendous night. It was awful. It
Sounds
really
awesome
was.
to me. I don't know about anything else. I would be down with that.
Never felt
You
so.
get to my age, you get a little kinky. That's all I'll say.
I think it's bizarre because like you've grown up watching somebody, like, you know what I mean, on this show, and you're laughing, and then suddenly you meet them in person, and then it's like, then they're hitting on you and stuff. Like, oh, that's so weird.
I think the worst part was he cast a very tragic figure. It was, it was at the end of his sort of reign as, he had this really amazing reputation, and he got into drugs and drink, and it was very sad, but
Yeah.
You nearly got a snog out of it though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. To be fair,
more stories until you let me know what you're going to say. Okay, please, thank you.
This is great. I think this could be its own little thing. You two, I think there's some really. And I think Roger's quite happy to talk about everything.
It's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realise quite how inclusive this show was.
Yeah.
I thought it was inclusive up to a point, but you two bathing together is
We bathed together.
We didn't bathe together, Roger. Listen to your language, my man. Right?
I didn't say that you were in the showers out to the bath. That's what I said. I said you were in the showers, I was in the bath. I didn't say
bathing together sounds like you're in the same.
One of you is stood up. One of you is stood up naked over the other one is naked. And I think it would have been
because it was kind of you couldn't really see each other.
Bath.
They're separate. They're not in the same thing. Oh, Matt's imagining one in a bath with a shower in the bath.
Right.
No,
Right.
Matt, no. They're separate. The bath and the shower are two.
Same room.
Things.
I took some spank bank notes. I'm just going to put a line through a few of them. Let's re-describe what was happening. Hang on.
I think
what are you wearing? Hang on a second. Let me just.
Well, I think that just goes to show how great of friends me and Roger are, and I love you, and we will always be friends forever.
Right. I vote that you go and stay with Holly in Sweden, because I figure you guys all that kind of stuff flies there, doesn't it?
Oh, they're very free and open here. It's brilliant. I love it.
Holly, you're in Sweden.
I'm in Sweden. Yeah, my husband's Swedish, and I moved here a year and a half ago. So yeah, I'm in the middle of the countryside, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Love it.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys are there for good, or do you still have a place in the UK? Or?
I still, yeah, I have an apartment in London, but I never really thought I would be able to move away from my family. I'm really kind of very got strong connections with all my sisters and my nieces and nephews. And I really fell in love and just feel like we're creating our own family, and being in Sweden it just feels so right. It just feels so right. So I'm very happy here, and yeah, life is good. It's good.
Amazing. Do you have kids?
I'll wait for this.
Stand up.
Hey!
On the way. It's not that I've put on weight. Yeah, this is the first. I was going to say the first of many, but I'm 41, so it's probably my only one. But my husband already has a little boy, so we've now got 2. So
right.
Yeah.
My neighbour Amy had hers at age 42 and 43. So crack on.
I mean, it's so much more normal now, women having kids a lot older. So, I don't feel old at all. So I mean, I'm popping them out to around 50. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to round up this section, I would play Cristiano Ronaldo as centre forward, number 9.
Yeah, the football conversation didn't last that long, did it, Matt? That lasted all of 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think it all weaves together. I would play him as a number 9. He's a target man. He's brilliant with his head, 2-footed. Doesn't do too much running around. I think it'll last a couple of seasons. Scored a bunch of goals. That's why
the rejects were so shit.
What?
That's why the rejects were so shit.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, Cristiano Ronaldo was a number 9, age 36.
No way.
20 goals a season.
No way.
Centre forward, rather than running around like a horse on 2 wings.
Not as a centre forward. Just give him the free rein, and he will. Yeah. I reckon he'll bag 30.
Too old for that running around. He wants to be in the middle. Reinvent him. They won't be expecting it. Expect the unexpected. This is why you are stuck in your ways and still in Renford, and I'm not.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. I was pretending I was frozen. Did that work? Yes.
Oh, you got me, man. You got me good.
That got me as well. I was at my phone again. My bar's gone.
You know what? I've asked way too many questions. Tom, you got any questions? Give me a question. Let me answer.
I've certainly got some stuff to say to Roger, but I'm going to do it after the podcast. I'll text you.
Right.
Let me think. I'll tell you. Well, okay, Roger. Okay, let's get a little bit political. How is it being a black man in the acting business? We had a chat once, and it was sort of along the lines of, I think I was saying to you that I think it's easier for black people to get parts because there's so few black actors. And I think you came back against me just saying, yeah, but we don't get any parts. So what's it been like?
Yeah, that's a really interesting discussion, because, part of me leaving the UK to come to America was because it was kind of like, there was a trend where like Noel Clarke had brought out these like adulthood kidult things. There's always like kids on the estate, but it's kind of similar parts. But then like you look at America and you can kind of play like all things, So coming out here, there was a lot more opportunity for to play other things rather than the stereotypical things. But your question was about the roles for black people. Like you're talking about like in volume.
Yeah, I just think what's your experience been? Have you found it? Have you been rejected, or do you think it's hard? Do you think it was harder, or it's harder now for black people to get into the acting business?
Do you know what the interesting thing about out here is like there's like a lot of trends, and there's like a lot of like being like politically correct, So when there was all like this like Black Lives Matter and all these kind of things, and suddenly there was like a lot of roles for black people. Like you were the hot people. Like you matter. Let's put you in. And then it kind of dies down. Then like there'll be trends. Like let's say like Straight Out of Compton comes out and it does like amazing at the box office. Now suddenly there's like more like parts for black people and stuff, But then with agents and stuff, it's been very interesting, right? Because I would meet an agent and they're like, "Oh my God, we love you, but we've already got one." And I'm like, and I'm like, but that guy that you have is 50, right? We're not going to be going into the same things. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I literally signed with a manager, I remember like a few years ago, because he was like, well, I've already got another black guy, but like one of you will get it. One of you will get the role. Do you know what I mean? It's a business at the end of the day. But I can look at someone's roster and I'm like, you've got like 15 brunette guys, 15 blonde guys, but you
Right.
can't have like 2 black guys.
They
Like, that's
speak
too
about
much.
it like it's a border collie, right? We already have a border collie. I don't want to take on any more dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're just an actor, for God's sake.
But, yeah, exactly. So it's a bit bizarre how they kind of approach things. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know.
Do you think it's going to change anytime soon?
Yeah, it's changed. That's what I'm saying. It goes through like seasons. So like right now, it's trendy. So there's like a lot going on for black actors.
Okay, and I have got one more question. What's it like acting in America?
It's so different to the UK rap, because I remember like the audition scene in the UK, and like here's the thing, we have different mindsets. Like in the UK, it's a bit more kind of like, well, anyway, we go to auditions, you see the same kind of people. We're like, yeah, good luck, go in there, kill it. Because at the end of the day, if you're meant to get it, you're going to get it. Like that's just what it is. You come out to America and they're so competitive and it's so quick. So you got people like reading the lines like out in front of you. Hey man, so like, you know, we're gonna do this. Da, da, da. And you're like, all right, brother, like relax. It's not that serious. You know, doing all the kind of intimidation stuff, and it's like you don't know what I can do. But in the room, it's very quick. Hey, how you doing? Good question. Go. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So it was a big shock to me. I was like, oh, like usually in the UK, they're like, how's your family? So yeah, like so you read the thing. Okay, what do you think? Let's read it. Let's give it a shot. You know. Here it's like so quick.
Rog, do you find the other thing is, especially in the studios when you go in, that you do those auditions in those bloody little huts and everybody can hear you?
Matt, oh my goodness, that is the worst thing.
Isn't it
life.
the worst?
I hate it. And that's happened to me a good like 6 or 7 times. You go to a place and then it's like you can hear the guy in there shouting for his life. What do you mean you don't love me? I'm like, oh, dude, bring it down. Like, what are you doing? So then you're like, everyone can hear you. Then it's just like, I don't like those ones.
It's horrible. Isn't it? The other difference, Tom, I don't speak for Roger, but I've done a bunch of auditions out in LA. Is everyone goes in costume?
Yes.
Everyone goes in costume, and that it can be an Elizabethan drama. And you turning up with bodice on and like Elizabeth I hairdo and powder, and you've got a white T-shirt on, and you're like, I probably should have tried harder.
Yeah, I went to this audition one time that someone came in like medical scrubs, and I was just like, I had like a shirt, like just give the idea of the thing. You don't literally have to be in the costume, but people do that for commercials. Like I went for one to play like what was it, like an army vet or something. People come in the full costume, they've got the boots, they've got this thing. I'm just in green. I'm just wearing like a green thing, you know what I mean? It's like
it's like they've hired a costume for it. You're like, you didn't have that hanging around, do you know what I mean? Oh, pick out my M1 fatigues. Which was that hanging around?
It does come across as, I love my American cousins, but their culture's so different.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that Roger said about being intimidated as well, they do try and, it's like a hockey game.
Wow.
People try and put you off. And I was in an audition once, it was a couple of years ago, for a comedy pilot. And I'm sat reading the script like that, and there's a guy right here, and he's obviously trying to like narc me, do you know what I mean? He's getting closer and closer and closer. And as I just went, will you fuck? It was Kevin Bishop, Martin's cousin Kevin.
No way.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Did you? I was like, I was just about to belt you one, mate.
That's so funny. But I think as well with the Americans, they grow up with a different mindset. So they're already very competitive. And it's like, like in America, you can go like, I want to be the president. Everyone's like, yes, you can be that. You can do anything. And then in the UK, you're like, I want to be an actor. And everyone's like, well, I don't know. Like, there's so many people that want to do it.
You have a job with a name on your shirt, I think. Name on your shirt. That's where you're going.
You know what I mean?
I think as well, it's that ridiculous sort of English, the Americans are very over, they're very dramatic, whereas the English are very sort of, you have to have that sort of class about you. And I think there's massive culture difference there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. It takes a long time, because I've spent a long time in America. It takes a long time to assimilate and realize that a lot of it is a front, and a lot of it is just a way of behaving. They're very, do you know what I mean? Like you can break that down, and you can see straight through it. Do you know what I mean? They're very sort of mannered as a culture. Do you know what I mean? Often you can be speaking to somebody and just think, we're not talking about anything. We're just like, you know what I mean, Raj? You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about anything. Yeah, totally. Yeah, man, yeah, ate some lobster. Yeah. No, you didn't. You just think you have to say that.
Yeah.
But I would give it to anybody listening who aspires to go to LA. I'd give it a crack because it's a lot of fun and you learn a lot.
Absolutely.
And the opportunities are myriad. I mean, and once someone gets behind you and supports you, they're so supportive. Like Roger says, they're so supportive.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, I want to be a movie star. And they're like, yeah, totally. You know, you can do it.
Make it happen.
But whoosh, that they work you like a mongrel dog. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. So Roger, one more question quickly. You said you're doing a rehearsal later. What's it for, man?
Oh yeah. Me and my friend, we've written this show.
It's called Bath and Shower Buddies. It's a one-man.
Okay. Let it go, buddy.
Come on, man.
Let it go. Yeah. So we've written this thing called Dog Meet, and it's basically along the lines of what it'd be like to meet your dog as a person. So it's like a comedy thing, and so we've got a rehearsal for that today. So
nice,
should
man.
be fun.
Where's that going on? Can I come and see that? Will it be on by the 17th?
No. It's not a play. Like we're shooting it for a concept for like a pilot.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have any white guys? Do you already have one, or can I be in it? You already have one.
Touting for a part. There we go.
We would have the person, but we'll still meet them. We'll still go for a cheeky hike and be really American.
I've already bagged any white people that are needed in LA. Roger has promised it to me, Matt. Okay, you got.
Right. I think they already have one. They already have Ryan Gosling, so you're okay.
Yeah. Good on Ryan.
All right, fellas. We've waffled on for quite a while. Should we get out of here?
Yeah.
How long have we been on?
Well, good hour and a bit.
Oh wow.
Could I just say one more thing before you go? Because I was listening earlier when you were talking about how in maybe the second season he started writing a lot of stuff for you.
Yes.
Like dialogue wise. Listen, this guy it was like we get a script for the next day and I'm like, oh my God, that's a soliloquy on every page. Hey, welcome to Sports Show. I'm Vinnie Rodriguez, your host. And then I'm thinking, oh my, and it's all in one shot. So you go like, if I mess this up, then we got to reset. And it's like pages of freaking dialogue. So I was like, Matt, I had it worse than you. I just wanted to put that out there.
The thing with you is you speak a lot quicker than I do.
He does. I remember he would just, but you could understand. It wasn't like gabbled or anything. You would like speak it, and it would just be. You were pretty good at that, though.
Yeah,
what I have to say.
Little girl's voice, yeah.
If you watch the show back,
I did.
I actually speak so slowly. You might think there's something slightly wrong with me. Like I might be in my head. Like I speak really slowly. And
I'm like, hello and welcome to Sports News. I'm your host, Vinnie Rodriguez. So I'm like, where's your voice at? Where's the bass at, bruh?
Do you know what you sound like? You sound a lot like John Barnes. Do you remember? You isotonically say sport.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But I will take a lot of credit for Roger's performance because I had to sit there learning his lines with him every
in the bath, yeah.
Right, but Roger, no, man, you will not be coming on this show again, Roger. Okay.
Oh man,
no, it's been lovely to see you all. It's been so lovely.
Roger,
yeah, absolutely.
Before I go, so where are you in LA? You don't need to be specific because I know you have a legion of fans, but where do you like it?
I'm on Melrose.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Hollywood.
We won't give cross streets, but I'm on Melrose. So.
They're not next to that really dodgy school where they hang out and they're all like really high and stuff. Where is that? That's on Melrose. Is it Melrose and Fair?
The school. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. I think that's where the Red Hot Chili Peppers went to school. Yeah.
Where are you going to be out here?
Acrid reek of ganja. I will be in Echo Park, and I will be September 17th for about a week.
Dope. Let's definitely hang. Let's definitely grab food and all that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it. All right, beautiful people. I'm gonna let you go.
All right.
Awesome.
So, Holly, lovely to see you.
Matt, I have to say, it's brought back loads of really good memories. It's been, I'm like, oh my God, how much fun did we have? It was really, I enjoyed this a lot. And it's just reminded me how much fun we had 23 years ago, whenever it was. So yeah, it was good.
Will you come on again, Holly?
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And Roger, my anchor friend, lovely to see.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, it's lovely to see you, Matt. It's lovely to see you, Holly. It's been
And
so
you.
long. It's been
Brilliant.
so long.
I know.
Okay, Leighton, we can stop recording.